Mm.
Welcome to Reset to Healthier Relationships, Sunday nights at 9. I am Coach Glenda here with Mr. Carpenter, and we have another hot topic this Sunday night. I want to also say, I know that some churches, and I think it's national. October is the month for breast cancer awareness. So I have on my pink to celebrate breast
Okay.
cancer awareness. And I think it's something else going on in the month of October as well. Is it something about domestic violence? I'm not sure. Does anyone know, Mr.
Not sure
Carpenter?
neither. I'm not sure neither.
Okay.
I've been
Okay. It's
Well, I
something
know
else.
that Preachers Appreciation Month is in the month of October.
Yes, clergy appreciation. Yes, it is. I've sent my offering back home. So, yes, I know that one as well. Okay. All right. So before we kick off with tonight's topic, I wanted Mr. Carpenter to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about his background before we move on into tonight's discussion.
Good evening, everybody. If I can get myself situated here. Again, my name is Rufus Carpenter, and I'm glad to be here tonight. And I thank you for being here tonight, because without you, we really wouldn't have a podcast or a show at all, or a community. But you're here, you're great. And first, I want to tell you what the framework of this is. Framework is 20 of your girlfriends are in your living room, and you guys are being able to talk in a free, safe space, and you're able to share your story. And when you get to share your story, it helps other people because you relax, you might have a glass of wine, or you might take a moment out and just think about what's going on in your neighborhood or in your area. And you don't know, some of the ladies that's in your community are going through some things that you went through and found a way out. And this is your chance to give back, because when you speak your truth and you talk about relationships that you've been through and how you navigated and how you came out on the other side, you might not be aware that the young lady beside you, or a sister beside you, she might be going through the same problem you're going through right now. She might be just dressing it up a little better than you did when you went through it. So by you giving your truth, you're really helping her out. Again, my name is Rufus Carpenter. I come to this space a little different than most. My training in relationship and just people in general started as a little boy in a family of 14 kids. And my two parents, we lived in a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom house. And 14 people trying to use a 1 bathroom, you can imagine. But the really got serious when you slept with 3 or 4 of your siblings and one occasionally peed in the bed. You understood right quick what it meant to get along and the human connection. My story didn't stop there. I was married for 27 years, and being married for 27 years, you learn a thing about compromise, you learn a thing about communication, you learn a thing about trust. And these are the things, yes, to have a successful marriage, but these are the things you need for the human connection. Still, my story didn't stop there. I joined the United States Army, and while I was in the Army, one of the jobs I had was called Equal Opportunity Race and Relationship Leader, where I had to go into any unit that was assigned to our battalion that had any kind of racial or any kind of relationship problems. I was the first one on the scene. I had to do what's called an intake form. And at the conclusion of the intake form, I had to decide which level of authority or what resources we had to throw at solving that problem. So I'm here tonight also to represent the male perspective of the conversation. You're going to notice we're going to have a lot of ladies on here, but trust me, I'm going to hold down the male end of the bargain. We've got a beautiful topic tonight that we're going to talk about. As a matter of fact, it's almost a continuation from last week and some of the same things. And oh, this is a real good one. This is something that all of us need to get involved and discuss. I'm going to turn it over to Glenda. Glenda?
Okay. All right. As you already know, that Rufus and I have created this format as a safe place to discuss trials, struggles, and victories in past and present relationships. This is not a one size fit all zone. And there is no topic too minor or major that we cannot discuss. We encourage everyone to participate and speak their truth. This is a non-judgmental zone, so talk as much or as little as you like. And also, if you're not speaking, we want to make sure that we keep our phones on mute to give respect to the person that is currently speaking. So tonight's topic, dun, 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 I'm done. Keep it moving. You can stick a fork in it. All right, so what do you guys think that's about? Just by hearing that little topic.
Woo.
I mean, you're saying you're done, you want to keep it moving, and you can stick a fork in it.
That
No
sounds
one
like
has
something
an
you would say, Glenda. That actually sounds like
absolutely.
something you would say.
Yes, it does sound like something I would say and do. Yes. I'm surprised no one has any, no one wants to take a shot at what they think the topic is about tonight.
I
Oh
think
my
they
God.
do, but I think they want to see how it flows first before, so they know where to jump in at.
Y'all
Yeah.
family here. If it's not, if we're not on the same page, it doesn't matter. I just want someone to take a shot. Oh, here we go.
I'll take a shot.
Appreciate it.
Okay, it's three. I looked at it like this: 3 steps. You're done with the relationship, or you're going to keep on moving with the relationship. And number 3 is this is the relationship you want, so you putting a fork in it.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Hey,
That's a good
like I
read.
said, yeah, that's a good interpretation. Yes, that is a very good one. Okay, so
And
Mr.
maybe
Carpenter,
somebody else, maybe now that she didn't prime the pump, we might get some water. Somebody else might want to jump in there now because she primed the pump.
okay, anybody want to give us their interpretation of tonight's topic? Annette?
This is Annette.
Okay.
I knew it. I knew it. Because Annette,
I
that's
would,
just like you for the world.
I would think it means to me that is saying that I've had enough. Whatever's going down, I'm not taking any more of it. I'm walking away from it. I'm not even going to give it no more, nothing of me. It's over. It's done. I done stuck a fork in it and let it go. That's my impression.
Okay, I like that one too. All right, come on, Angela. Come on. You look dynamic. We got trio going on.
I'm in agreement with Annette. She said it.
Okay. All right.
And I
Okay.
ditto that.
You said what was the last part?
I ditto that.
Yes, you ditto that. And I triple ditto that myself. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys a scenario and we're going to take it from there. So the first scenario is meet Denise. She's a 42-year-old married married woman who has given everything to her relationship for the past 15 years. Her husband is emotionally distant and she feels like she's always walking on eggshells. Denise realizes she's constantly bending over backwards, but gets nothing in return. She's exhausted, lonely, and emotionally spent. After months of trying to fix things, she comes to the realization that the marriage is no longer serving her growth or happiness. Denise makes the courageous decision to say, I'm done. She recognizes that her peace is more valuable than staying in a relationship where she feels empty. I can understand that. 15 years is a long time to suffer, to be, especially walking on eggshells. So I can relate to that. So the topic tonight is about a decision to end the relationships that are no longer serving and embracing the courage to move forward. Tonight's topic is we're focusing on when should you say no, when you should let go and say that I'm done. Say, oh, I can't take anymore. In my honest opinion, 15 years is a long time, especially to be miserable. But hey, that's just my point of view. I made it 8 years, but some people have more patience and they have more hope than I did. But it's honestly recognizing when you should let the other party go. Let's see. It focuses on empowering women
Wait.
to recognize.
Glenda, before you go all at four, before you go there, we're missing a great opportunity here. Let's back it up
Okay, go
just a
ahead.
little bit,
All right.
because that scenario was a very powerful thing. And that
Okay.
scenario, believe it or not, that's more common than we realize. A lot,
Mhm.
I know people, I know two or three people that meet that scenario, whether it's Denise or Dennis. It's on both sides. It happened to male and the females. So
That's
let's
true.
talk about that, because as I heard you say the scenario, she tried, she gave all she could. She even bent over backwards. And you know what happened when you bend over backwards. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'll keep moving it. But you know when you bend over backwards, you get the stick. But here's the deal. Let's talk about that,
Okay.
because why and how do you stay in those type of relationships? What is the benefit? You know, somebody say something. Was somebody speaking?
No.
Okay, because when you in a situation like that, you've given yourself up. You've abandoned your needs. You're abandoning your ideas. You're abandoning your dreams, your hopes, your vision, and you pouring it into somebody else. And from her journey, it seemed like the other person didn't value her at all. So that's what we're talking about right now. Let's stay into that. Let's put the kickstand down right there. Let's go into that, because this is the nitty and gritty of the whole thing. We can talk about compromise, we can talk about communication, we can talk about trust, we can talk about all those things. But when you put your emotions and feelings in there, sometimes all these things go out the window. And you're saying, you're saying that if I just go one more day, one more week, if the pastor come down to speak to him, or if my mom talked to him, or if my brother hit him upside the head, or if my wife, all these things, have any who wants to share what they take away from that scenario? What's your takeaway from that scenario? Let's just talk about a scenario for a minute. And have you seen yourself in that scenario? I have. I with someone else speak, then I tell you about how I feel like I was in that scenario. I'm the only one that's in that scenario. I'm the only one that struggled.
Well, I know
Well,
some
then,
people
One
will
at
stay
a time.
in it.
Angela first, and Angela first, and Ann that second. Go ahead, Angela.
Okay, I know sometimes people will stay in it, especially if they have children. And I'm not so sure that that's the best thing to do, because the children really need to, they're smart. Children are smart, and they can sense it, they can pick up on it. And you're not, you're teaching them something, but what you're teaching them is not good. So people stay in it for that length of time, sometimes for the sake of the children. But I don't think that you should do that for them. I think, you should try to come to an agreement how you're going to parent. But if the relationship between the husband and wife or significant other or whatever is toxic, I think you need to end it.
Okay.
Stick a fork in it.
Okay. Awesome. Annette, your turn, Annette.
I agree with Angela. However, I can speak from experience, personal experience in this type of thing, where I went through it, and I think I was in it, and I really believe I didn't even understand that I was in it. I knew it wasn't
Yeah.
giving me all that I wanted, but I didn't really understand all of it. Then I even thought it'll get better all the time, and people that knew me and all, they could see into my relationship, and they could see that I needed to let it go. They could see that it wasn't good for me, and they would even try to tell me, but I couldn't see it. I could feel it, but I couldn't see it. And I didn't act upon my feelings because I thought all the time that it would get better, it would get better, it would get better. If I did this a little bit, or if I took this a little longer, it'll get better. And today, looking back, there was no better. It was at the moment that you see it, it's over. And I realized at that moment that I saw it, I should have walked away from it. I should have stuck a fork in it. I should have did all the bow out things, but I didn't do it. So it's like I kicked my own behind in hindsight, because I saw it and I knew it, but I don't know. I just went through it, and I don't really understand why I went through it so long.
And I
That's me.
appreciate your truth, because that's
Yeah.
where most of us find ourselves at. And a lot of us, we're afraid to tell it. We're afraid to let people know that we didn't have a clue. We're afraid to tell how vulnerable we were. We're afraid to tell how naive we were. We're afraid to tell that. But all of us, a lot of us on this line tonight, and it was about 6, 8, 9, 10 of us. Out of the 10 of us, I'm betting that at least 6 of us have been through that same scenario. Me, I'm one of them. You know, and I think what Angela? You say something, Angela?
I said I'm one as well.
Correct. I mean, I don't need nobody to confess, but right now I'm telling you, it's out of the 10 people on here, 6 of us, or even 8 or 9 of us have been through it. Because it's so common, because we didn't get the training. We never had places like this, like Sunday Night at 9, where we can sit and talk and we can bring these things out. Because Angela said that if it's violent, if it's violent, or a person's treating you really, really bad, then it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Angela. What'd you say, Angela?
I use toxic if it's toxic.
Right, if it's toxic. But see,
mm-hmm.
It don't have to be toxic and still not be good for you. See, my situation was a little different. My situation wasn't toxic. It wasn't toxic. We was unequally yoked. And see, I didn't realize that I was living someone else's potential and not my potential. I didn't grow. It wasn't toxic. Matter of fact, it was love and everything, but I didn't grow. I didn't get what I needed. I was pouring from the empty cup.
Okay.
But because I loved so strong and so deep, I continued. You know, that's why sometimes it's not somebody beating you upside the head or doing all these things. Sometimes you're just not getting the growth. You're not who God intended you to be. You're not living your purpose. You know, I think, ladies, y'all call it settling. I think that's what y'all call it. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. I think that's what y'all call it. But that's why this scenario is so important, because it speaks to that. Because it didn't say that lady was getting beat up in that scenario. It said what she weren't being served. She didn't grow.
Right, because sometimes everybody is not going where you're going. So I can understand that you're growing and they stop, and that's a problem, because you can't see futuristically. There's no dreams, no hope. It's like you're not taking the relationship or the marriage anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how mine was. It was just, and I didn't realize that, but I just know, oh no, it's more to life than this. So I could see right off, okay, it's only going to be one child here, because you ain't moving quick enough for me. You ain't making nothing happen. Right. And I got to make something happen.
Sherry just put in the comments that they don't get out or get because they're afraid of being alone. You know, and that's true. If you come from a big family, or even if you come from a small family, sometimes you feel you can't be alone. You can't see yourself in a house by yourself, or going by yourself. It's hard in your mind. You don't have security. You don't feel like you have safety. You're not complete unless, sometimes people feel they're not complete unless they have a man or have a woman.
Right. I know several of those types of women.
Yeah. So speak to that part a little bit, Glenda, and then we'll go to the next section if everybody's ready to go to the next section.
I know a few of them women. I didn't say that I was one of those women.
I didn't say you were. I just said speak to it.
I know. Well, from my experience, give me 1 second. Gigi says that she can't hear us. Is there something you can suggest or put in the chat for her?
is it her system? Does she have her Bluetooth on, or is it going through a speaker? Is it going through a headset, or is it going through her speakers? Because she might have turned it up. Because I think I hear you very well, and I heard Dr. Johnson. I heard Angela Annette very well. So it may be her system.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
In my opinion, from what I have heard, from my experience, I've heard women say, they're so anxious and they're so I call it thirsty to have a man in their life that they more or less, like Mr. Carpenter says, that they've been settling. So I'd rather have a man than the right man. And I've told quite a few of them is I tell them, you might need to, get rid of some of your baggage first, because the Lord is not going to bless you with Mr. Right or Miss Right if you're toe up from the flow up. If you're still dealing with past hurts and relationship, but you just keep jumping into one relationship after the other without really being truly delivered, or letting go your past, you're not going to be healthy for a partner. You can't expect God to put the right person in front of you and you destroy their life with all your old baggage. It's not going to work. They say they understand, Glenda, you're right, but they just constantly keep repeating the same cycle. So I listened to them, and they said, Glenda, I already know what you're going to say. I said, I'm like, there's nothing else I can say, because you keep repeating, because they want a man, they want a relationship so bad. They're always settling for the right person. And sometimes you just got to wait it out. And then,
Actually,
go ahead, Angela.
I say they need to become whole themselves. They need to get
Right.
themselves together.
Right.
Because they haven't. Because once you do, whether you whip somebody or not, you're okay. I don't, you can take yourself out to dinner, whether you going with somebody or not, or a movie. But you got to become whole yourself. You got to get healed from the inside and be okay with that.
Yes, exactly. And just because you made that point, when I had went through my divorce, in the beginning, for the first couple of years when I was by myself, it used to bother me, because when I went to the mall or went out to eat, even with my children or by myself, I would see everybody coupled up. It's like everybody was coupled up at that time. I was like, what? Everybody got a man or a woman except for me. And it used to bother me. But then I grew to understand, it's like, oh, well, I'm going to work out myself, my personal issues, get myself together. Because when I do hit the jackpot, I want to make sure that I am a blessing to the next person that grab a hold of me. And hopefully this one will stick. But it does take some rediscovering of yourself to be able to, after you've gone through that bad experience, to get yourself where you need to be, so you can have that destiny partner, or that relationship that fulfills you and serves the purpose in your life.
Well, Sherry put a note in the chat. It just flashed up, and she says, but he's paying all the bills. Honey, God bless those that have their own.
And all money is not good money.
We don't want to be a burden to one another. You want him to have something to bring to the table, and you as well. So if one leaves, life goes on. If one dies, life still goes on. You still have to have a roof over your head. You have to pay all the still necessary bills. So you really shouldn't burden one another and put it on them just because they're the man.
Right.
The first part that I put was she is staying because he is paying all of the bills, but she has been miserable for at least 15 years.
Oh, it ain't working.
She is so miserable. It shows on her face, and
Right.
that's all she talks about. And excuse me, I told her that if you're that miserable, then why not leave? Well, he's paying all the bills, and I don't want to spend my money.
Oh, well, that's the problem. She the problem.
She's the problem, but I can't
she
get her
don't
to
think
see.
he's worth it.
I can't get her to see that it's so much better to love yourself and learn how to be self-sufficient and be on your own and be happy. A peace of mind is probably the best thing you can have.
Definitely.
And right, and you can't buy peace.
But sometimes, ladies, sometimes it's mental health. Sometimes people can't see the forest for the trees, and they need somebody to help them sort through some of that. And this is where the counselors and the therapists come into play, because a lot of times they really can't see the full picture. They can't see the other half of the equation. All they know is if I'm here, even if I'm miserable, everything is tomorrow will happen for me structured. Tomorrow is already structured. I don't have to do anything more than what I'm doing right now. The unknown is a heck of a thing if you don't have faith. Everybody got quiet.
But then she have a friend helping her. Sherry is telling her, but you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. And you can't keep spinning your wheels and wasting your time. It's like casting the pearl before the swine.
But you know what, ladies, and that's why I'm so hard. That's why I'm so tired of Glenda to help push this Sunday night at 9 and her coaching program forward, because some people can only hear it from some people, from that one type of person. They won't hear it from me or from Sherry or from Dr. Johnson. They might only hear it from Glenda, because you'd be surprised who has whose ear. And you be saying, I've been telling this person this all the time. They didn't tell nothing. I haven't told them for the last 3 years. But all of a sudden, they can only hear it from Glenda. And because
finally came on.
Yep. And see, right, because Glenda has a certain way of doing it. She's got a quirkiness about the way she do it. But that only certain people can hear certain things from Glenda. And there's a niche out there for her. And that's one reason why I'm in it, because she has the ability to help so many people with her story. And I'm not super religious. So don't get me wrong. I'm not super religious. I know God, and I think he's my personal savior. But God put her through some stuff so she could be a blessing to others. Her misery and her mess, it might not have been a blessing to her during the time, but now she can be a blessing to somebody else. Because sometimes we pray, believe it or not, sometimes people pray, they pray for trouble. Because sometimes trouble is the thing that worketh your patience and worketh your faith. Let me get off there. Y'all going to start me preaching now. Let somebody else.
No, one thing about trouble, you always have trouble. You ain't got to ask for it. It's going to always find you.
Yes, the writer James says when trouble
I heard that today.
temptation.
Just like that. Yep. Trouble. You're going to always have trouble.
Yep. All right, Glenn, go to the next one, Glenn. We're gonna get religious on this one. Go to the next one.
Okay, so I'll use the next illustration. Okay. Okay. Then there's Joy, 35-year-old single. She's been dating her partner for 5 years, waiting for a proposal that never comes. Her partner is inconsistent, never fully committing, and always making her feel like she's asking for too much. Joy realizes that she's dimming her light and settling for someone who won't meet her at her level. She finally says, I'm done. Reclaiming her power and embracing the possibilities of a relationship where her worth is honored and reciprocated.
I'm getting out of that one. I'm leaving that one alone. Y'all
waited 5 years and she's been waiting for a proposal. I don't think it really takes 5 years for you to know whether or not this is your destiny partner. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, well, you may know that he or she is, but if one is not ready, a man, the timing have to be right. I know this for a man, and he got to have in his head. He have to have some things in place, and that's why they don't move ahead with the proposal. Now, I believe if you go ahead and go forward, and the male is not ready, you're gonna have problems. And that's what it takes for men. Is timing with them and being in position and timing. But a woman would know sometimes right off because of that inner intuition, and she can see past it. Some, men are just not there. And the reason is because the timing have to be right and they have to be in position.
That makes a lot of sense. So that means that he doesn't need to have husband benefits
Right, absolutely. You can cut the benefits, friends without benefits.
That's right.
And that's
If
all
you
right.
get ready, then we could go back to all that good stuff.
And it should be okay. You go ahead and do you, boo.
That's right.
Do your life. Go ahead and let him come along when he get there.
Right. When his timing is right, then we can resume.
And he's in position.
If I'm available.
Right. That's true.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna take one of Andre's answers out of this. Andre, this is something Andre said a while back. Andre said, young girls are prepared to get married. From youth, guys aren't.
Okay.
Right, Andre?
You see, he quiet tonight.
It's timing and position. Timing is not there and the position is that there. And women just have to stand their ground and just says, okay, you know what? I'm going to put a fork in this. We're going to be friends and I'll see you up the road when you get there. We'll stay in contact, but no benefits, baby.
That's right.
Can I stop being a coach for a few minutes and just talk?
I'm scared. I'm scared. Wait a minute.
Can I talk off the cuff for a few minutes? Because I want to talk off the cuff for a few minutes here, if y'all don't mind. This is not textbook. This is me talking. Here's what I noticed. Guys can say, that we're going to propose and do all that. But I've seen ladies kind of set the stage. And ladies, you guys set the stage. For us poor guys, we just go as you lead us. And you say, what are you saying? Yeah, I know you're saying, what am I saying, right?
You're saying yes.
Okay, now listen. When a woman gets what you call BBLs or breasts and all that stuff, when they the tummy tuck and all that stuff, and she looks fine without it, and she gets it. What is she getting all that for?
She on social media a little too much. She trying to look like something she saw on social media.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Let's wait. Whoa, slow back up. Let's talk for a minute, because when they what's that? She leaves him for. Oh yeah.
For real. Marriage, even if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's why. Because when you see ladies now, because I'm telling you, for a time there, man, you had to. It's you can have a girl. You can meet a girl. You can meet a lady, a girl, and she's a plain Jane when you meet her, and then you start going with it, and all of a sudden, man, she's a supermodel. In the course of dating her, she becomes a supermodel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you met her, she was a plain Jane.
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, she was a supermodel. That transition, and you see the transition, and you be saying, baby, you didn't have to do all this. You didn't have to get the breast implant. You didn't have to get new booty. You didn't have to do, you didn't have to do all that hair. You didn't have to do all that. I love you just the way you were. And then she says, well, hey, look, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I always been curious because I always look beyond because everybody has an agenda. And this is just me talking now. Am I right or am I wrong?
Maybe she's trying to keep her options open. She want to make sure she stay attractive just in case it doesn't work out with him. It's nothing wrong with self-improvement.
But she's attractive all the time.
But maybe she didn't think she was.
Okay.
I think she thinks she's attractive, but she see his eyes roaming, looking at the girls looking the way they look. And she's starting to compete to hang on to him, to keep his eyes close looking on her, looking at her. She doesn't want to feel left out. That's what I think.
Okay, what did you say, Sherry? I couldn't read it. You went too fast. What was that she had put, Glenda? What Sherry said?
Oh, once the body is fixed, the mind is the same. And I'm about to respond back. That's a bad combination.
Yes, it is, Glenda. It is a bad combination. I know someone who had a tummy tuck, but I'm just going to put it out there. My son's baby mama, she had a tummy tuck, but I told him she get that tummy tuck, that mind is still messed up. She is still messed up in the head. They did not open her head up and fix that mind, so she is still toxic. And he learned that she is still toxic as ever. She got a flat stomach.
She's worse than what she was.
She's worse than what she was before she had the tummy tuck.
Yeah.
He didn't believe me.
That's all right. He learned today, didn't he?
Surgery is not going to fix the head.
No, it won't.
The mind got to be fixed before you can do anything and move forward and have something better.
That's true. I agree with that. And that's why I brought this part out, because a lot of times ladies, their agenda is, don't make the sucker marry me. If he like the breast, boom. If he like this, boom. He was saying, whoa.
But what's so funny is I've seen, working in healthcare, women have these surgeries done, for their men supposedly. But what happens when something goes wrong? I've seen women where they had to have their implants removed after having them put in because it just didn't agree with their body. So what then? What happens to the relationship then? If you were doing it just for your partner, your spouse, and then the surgery failed and what you were going for didn't work out with your body chemistry, and they have to take it back out, and you back with that saggy, flabby, that boob thing, look like flapping chicken skin on the neck. I mean, what happens then? Do you think he's gonna leave you? Do you think he'll keep you? Or are you going to try something else?
They're going to try something else.
Good luck. What do you mean?
Coach Glenda, I work in surgical services. So I've seen a lot of people that come through for plastic surgeries. People that feel like, oh, if I could just get this one thing, and then that one thing turns into 10 things. So, sometimes it could be a cosmetic thing, or sometimes it could be a self-esteem thing. But to me, I really think that the amount of surgeries that women are having these days is to bring their confidence up, and surgery is not going to help that. If you're not confident in the woman that you are, that your man sees, then no amount of surgery, no man will ever be able to come up to the level that you think he can come up to. I'm done with that.
Thank you.
Okay, that's a lot, and that's why I just want to bring that out. I just want to talk about that because that's something happens every day. We see it. People from the East Coast fly down to Miami and have all this surgery done. People fly overseas to have surgery done, and when they had the stimulus money, oh goodness gracious, man, there were people flying back and forth.
Money?
What, Angela?
That was a little bit of money.
Yeah. But
some it went a long way.
Yep, they put it to use. Seemed like yes, vanity. That's good, Andre. That was a good one. That vanity of what we want to look like.
Over simplicity.
Yes. Okay. I think we've got enough on that part. Want to go to the next one, Linda, or we want to? What's the next thing on the agenda?
My manager only gave me 2 illustrations, so I don't have
Okay, then let's start bringing this on home then. That means it's time to start bringing it home. Yes, we talked about a lot tonight because when you're talking about our subject tonight had three parts to it. I'm gone. Keep it moving. Stick a fork in it. It's three parts, but it's all saying the same thing. You get to make a determination when you go through a relationship. A lot of times when we have something like this, I'm gone. Keep it moving. Stick a fork in it. We're not telling you to leave. We're not saying leave or walk away from it. We're saying evaluate it. We're saying take a step back and look at it. Are your needs getting met? Is it something you can say, hey, partner, let's sit down and talk and let's work this out and see how we can bring this back and reset this relationship to something that we both can benefit from? Because relationships are partnerships, and both of you should be able to benefit from that partnership. It should be something for both of you in there, because it's one-sided. It's not going to work no matter how you try to put it together. And life is too short. With we're right out of COVID now, people are still going away from this earth. Young, old, in between. Deaf now really don't have no preferences now. It take the young as well as the old now. So now is the time that you really need to evaluate your relationship and your connections. And how do you bring it back? If you find yourself in a relationship that's really not serving you, but you got a good partner and you feel that you and your partner can make it, what do you do? What are some of the steps? Let's talk about that. What are some of the steps? Let's talk about it. But first, let's talk about what are the steps when you recognize and you're in a partnership and you recognize that you need to talk, or you recognize that something needs to change. You recognize you need to reset. What are some of the things you see? What are some of the feelings you feeling when you feel you gotta reset a relationship? One of them is feel stagnant. Feel like you're not going anywhere.
Right. You're not a priority.
You're not a priority. You're not a priority. So the relationship is not a priority. Somebody said when you look in the mirror, what was it Andre say?
Because when you don't like who you see in the mirror.
Right. And especially if that's based on being in a relationship. Was somebody speaking?
That was Angela.
Yes, Angela.
No,
go ahead.
I was saying when you don't like what you see in the mirror, then you have to do something about it. I'm not necessarily talking about plastic surgery. I mean, you got to work on the inside of you and pull in, right, and renew the mind, and because you got to realize what was that scripture? God said we are beautifully and wonderfully made.
Fearfully made. Yeah.
So if you're not seeing yourself the way He see you, then you may need to pull in and just get the Word of God and sit in His presence so He can download some things to you.
Yep. And wouldn't it be a wonderful thing if you and your partner could work on getting it back together? When you say, "Hey, look, partner, we need to work on this," and you and your partner can sit down and figure this thing out, and you guys can work on it together. Go ahead. Say something, Linda.
I've heard of relationships having those one-on-one evaluations from time to time, at least once a year. And they always make promises, or they make it sound like, okay, we're going to work on this. And then the next year, nothing changes. How long do you let that continue to happen? Because if it happens 2 years in a row, what's going to happen the third year or the fourth year? Really, no one is putting let me just say that someone's not putting forth the effort for a change in a relationship or trying to make it work.
Linda, you talking about you deja vu. Cut it out. You scared me, girl.
Well,
it sounds like deja vu. but listen.
That's the bad thing about our friendship. You know too much.
No, I mean, even if we weren't friends, I would say, whoa. I would hate to be that dude. I'm just having fun. We're just having fun. But you're right.
You do?
It's 2 tonight.
Okay.
What can you do if the other person always say, "Oh, there's nothing to talk about"?
Woo.
Well,
there's nothing to talk about. And I thought, okay.
But really, they're telling you the truth. There's nothing to talk about. It's all said. It ain't working. He need
That's
to
a
go,
cool.
or she need to go.
Right.
They need to help you make the decision because
Absolutely.
they have
And I
to
made it.
feel like they got a vested interest in their relationship. If they don't have a vested interest in a relationship, they're not in a relationship. You just a person. They just a person that come and go as they please.
Pretty
You're
much.
in a relationship and they bouncing in and out.
Right. That's what I had, and I put a fork in it.
Yep. And
How
see,
long were you in that relationship, Angela?
And I just kept it moving.
How long, Angela, how long was you in that relationship?
16 years of marriage, 13 years of dating.
Now, we don't have to answer personal
Dating the
questions if
same
you don't want
person?
to. Now, realize, ladies and gents, you don't have to answer personal questions unless you want to. You know, because
Oh,
we're
I'm good.
not having you put your business out there unless you feel like you want to. Because this is a safe place, yes, but don't feel pressure that you have to tell us stuff because we ask. Because you always have a chance to say no. Because this is our chance to help other people. But sometimes when you put too much out there, you may want to reel some of that back in. But I just want to make sure you can say put as much or little as you want in this pot. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Linda. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. But and that's why when you see the scenarios that these two scenarios were right on point. This is regular. This is stuff that's happening right today. And what we're gonna do what's in this container, we're gonna start giving you forms you can download that you can assess your relationship. You can assess the fabrics and the quality of your relationships. Even if you're not dating or married, you can see some of the things that will help you grow in your connection with other people. Because relationships aren't just with a lover. You have relationships with your postman or your coworkers or whatever. They're all relationships. All relationships has the same ingredients: communication, trust, respect, mutual understanding. All the same criteria.
Right.
All right. Okay. Now, let's say what are some of the self-care tips that you guys have? What are some of the things you can do to make sure that your cup is full? What are some self-help and self-care things you can do? Any suggestions? Ooh, crickets.
Well, I said, well, for me,
100% counseling.
Okay. Counseling, right? Therapist, get a therapist or a counselor. Yep, 100% counseling. Excellent. Because they help you sort this stuff out. Believe it or not, they can really help you sort some things out because some things you just can't connect the dots on. They're experts in it. They're experts. And once you get a lot off your back and your shoulders, a peace of mind will come over you. Go ahead, Dr. Johnson.
well, for me, I get up early in the morning to spend time alone with God in devotion, to set my day up in prayer. Because if anything come along during the day, my mindset is already set to be able to handle it and not just be going off the wall. So my early time in the mornings is important to me.
So you put on your whole armor, huh?
I sure do.
All right, got you on that one. Good. And one thing is surround yourself with like-minded people, and that's what this community Sunday Night at Nine is all about. You like-minded people. They're people that can share, people that can be your sister or your brother in Conrad Conrad's, I guess the word, in this and help you out, and that's what this is all about. A routine. You got to have a routine, a physical. Believe it or not, exercise, just walking, little exercise, 10 to 15 minutes exercise will do you wonders. Will do you wonders. Journaling. Some people feel good when they write stuff out, able to write stuff out in a journal. And it helps them sort things out. They can go back and see, wow, they can say, wow, this time, here's something different. You get to see, and especially when you pull a journal out from last month, you can say, wow, I was at my best or I was at my worst then. What do I need to do differently? How now I got a roadmap to help me, kind of put things in place. You got to celebrate the small wins. you can have a small win, like maybe putting the pantry back together, or cleaning a house, or preparing for a test, or whatever. You need to celebrate the small victories, because the small victories set you up for the bigger wins. Self-care. You got to take care of self. If you believe it or not, you can't help me until you can help yourself. You can't even be a blessing to me unless you're first blessed. So look at it that way. Okay, don't lose yourself. Okay, okay. Oh, hey, Dr. Liz, Coach Liz. Coach Liz just said something really nice. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about tonight. Tonight it was done. Keep it moving, stick a fork in it, but still you got to realize what that really means to you long term, because we can't keep just destroying people, kicking people out, or just getting rid of people. Because a lot of times when we get out of one relationship, the next person we find is the same person, just a different name.
Right, true.
So sometimes it's you need to do some soul searching. You need to look at the internal you. You need to take a moment out. What you want to say, Angela? Go ahead, Angela.
I said you have to do a self-examination.
Correct. Get your own house in order. Glenda, you want to take us home?
Can I just say this?
Yes.
That's why sometimes it's important to be alone. You need that alone time to get yourself together, because if you steady going into a relationship after relationship, steady carrying baggage, it's not good. Who is that Erykah Badu with her song about baggage?
Yeah. Sometimes the bags get in your way. Bag lady.
That's right.
Hey, it's almost like Muhammad Ali, rope a dope. And you the dope. Yeah. I'm telling you. Good point, Dr. Johnson. Good point. Oh, yeah. Once again, don't forget, y'all, we got the cruise going out next year, but we got until the 18th to have your $28 in. $28 will reserve your cabin. $25. The deadline is the 18th of this month, October. So $25 will reserve your cabin for the cruise. We're going to have a good time. We're going to take Sunday night at 9 on the high seas, y'all, on Carnival Vista. On the 12th of October of next year, we're going to be on the high seas, and we're going to do Sunday night at 9 on the ship. I can't wait. I'm just going to lose my ever-loving mind. Trust me, I'm going to have a ball. And I know some of you don't have anybody that you could go with, and you say, well, I don't know who I'm going to take, or I can't take anybody, and it's all double occupancy. Glenda's handling the pairing. If you want to go but not sure you've got anybody to go with you, Glenda's pairing people up that want to go. Glenda, explain that, because I can't explain this because you can explain that. The pairing, how you gonna do that?
All it is, they can reach out to me via the email, the reset2hr@gmail.com, and just let me know that you need a partner for the cruise, and I will check the list and see is there anyone else up there that is also needing a partner. And I'm just collecting names. You can even put it in the chat tonight, and I'll just pair up the individuals that are needing partners for the cruise. And also we have coming up in June of 2025 the 14th. Conference.
14th.
The 14th.
June.
Yes, the 14th of June, we're having the conference in Leesburg, Florida, correct?
Yep, and it's gonna be the first ever relationship trivia contest. And we're gonna give some great prizes. We're gonna see how much you know about relationships. So it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be. I
learn something new every night. Okay.
Also, we got the website is almost up too. So we'll put that information in so you can know the website. All right, Glenda, take us home, girl.
Well, if there is nothing else and no one else has anything to say, as always, I have enjoyed your sacrifice and showing up tonight to participate. And our Sunday nights at 9, I look forward to seeing you next week. And if nothing else, if no one has anything else to say, y'all have a wonderful evening as well as a productive week.
We on YouTube on every Wednesday week. This thing will be on YouTube no later than Wednesday. Please share, like,
Subscribe.
and subscribe. Bye. Annette, you want to say something, Annette?
You know, I did want to say something. I wanted to say that what we need to do is we need to start thinking healthy, and we need to start thinking healthy for our lives. And then if we can take that to our relationships, I think we can identify with things when it begin to be wrong immediately, and I think we can find an exit out of it pretty smoothly. I think that's what we need to start doing with relationships. Begin to start thinking healthy about them,
And
about ourselves.
Let's put that on our self-care. Let's put that in the self-care part of that. So we'll bring that up as part of our self-care.
Yeah.
Cool. Is that okay?
Cool.
Awesome.
Good
night, everybody. See you next
week.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night.